soon as you get to Earth, deliver any information found in the spacecraft to the commander's office. Reception airlock open.
Is that you, Erick? On the move, Ori. I'm waiting for Chairman Erick to get here so we can get started. Are you here, Erick? Chairman? I'm waiting for you. If you're here, Chairman, type something in the comments or something. I'm waiting for the Chairman. I'm waiting for the Chairman. Come on, Chairman. I'm waiting for you, Chairman. Come on. Chairman, where are you? Thank you. Chairman. It says adding you. It says that it's adding. It says that it's adding you. Woo, yeah. Shit. Ooh, I finally got you.
What? Oh.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy. Why you make me wait on you? Jeez.
No, because it wouldn't show that you was live. I'm like, what's going on? It wouldn't show it. I'm like, why don't show that she live?
Lord of mercy. I hope you studied.
I couldn't. I was listening to the singing turtle.
No, you can't use that as an excuse. I'm not gonna allow you to do it.
The singing turtle who would sing to the king.
No, no, no. They're gonna allow you to do it. Okay, so listen. This is what we're gonna do. Today, welcome. We are covering We Are Balagoon, which is authored by Yafeu Balagoon, with contributor writers, supporting writers such as myself and Chairman Erick Khafre. This book is inspired by Shamsuddin Goodson, Dyer Mitchell, and the Lindsay families. So this book, we are diving into chapter 6 and chapter 7, which is the meat and the potatoes of this book.
Oh, man.
So I did study it because it is the meat and the potatoes. And we're talking about the seed of self-defense, how the concept of self-defense evolving into armed self-defense came into existence through the efforts of people like Chairman Erick Khafre and Yafeu Balagoon and many others who developed a mass organization, I would say a grassroots organization by the name of Guerrilla Mainframe, a militant organization, which gives it and draws to its distinction and what it is and why it is. We're going to dive into that and how it functions, the who, the what, the when, the where, the how, and the why.
Oh.
So please share this live out. Share it. Chairman, if you could share it for me, I greatly appreciate it. But whatever you do, do not get disconnected because I cannot do this without you.
Uh-oh.
So
I can't see you. Where you go?
I'm here. You can't see me?
Pitch black.
Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I can see me.
I'm glad you can.
So did you do something? Did you like try to share it and it did that or something? Or what happened? Did you hit a button?
I haven't seen you since I joined.
What? Well, you're on your side. Can you see yourself?
Really?
Do you have your camera?
Yeah, I can see me.
Okay, see, so on my side I can see me, but I can't see you.
Oh, what kind of shit dig is this?
I don't know. So you do have your camera on? I can't see you since you came in. I thought you had your camera turned off.
Oh, you had the same thing. I'm like, well, where did they start doing this? Man, we should have stuck with our homeboy TikTok. We're back to TikTok.
Man, shoot. Okay. So, try to share this vibe without getting removed or whatever.
I already
So,
did that.
so basically, what I'm gonna do is jump into this chapter 6 of the. I'm gonna go through the talking points, and I'm more than likely probably gonna ask you questions or because this is a great deal of your history, and you have the meat and potatoes. But I would definitely lead it. But please, please, please don't go anywhere because I got to go to the bathroom so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna play you a little music. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Mm. Oh, I didn't bring my drink out here. Mm.
Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. How did you like the music?
Oh, I like it.
Hey, Bobby.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Okay. So, when we're talking of self-defense, we're starting on page 63, Chairman.
Yeah.
So, Yasayu, people like Yasayu, Male, Chairman, we visited last time that we got together, which was 2 weeks ago, the chapter before the one we're doing now, which was a Black Forest Theater. And the Black Forest Theater presented an opportunity for these individuals to do security work for this venue, which was a place for entertainment, concerts, and all those things. And it was a place that was established by Erica Baidu. She was the proprietor at the time. So they would have different concerts and different stuff like that. So people like Yafeyu and Mail and many others, they were doing security. And here they also got a taste of, as Yafeyu explained, of the music scene at the time in Dallas, the vibe, the art, the culture was very, very big because you had like artists like Erica Badu, promoting and highlighting even local artists and things like that. So let's say Erick Khafre is watching Bring Them on Camera. You're here, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it say that. What it say? Bring me on camera then. See, dude. Let's see what it be.
Okay. It don't do nothing because they already have you added. Maybe it's a
Oh,
delay or something. With the
I hate to go back out, but
you hear me? Maybe it's like a delay or something with that message or something. You feel me?
yeah.
But so anyway, as long as you're here, cause you can't see me, right?
No.
But you can see yourself.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I can see myself, but I can't see you. So I
Yeah,
want
Facebook getting on my damn nerve.
so I want to do other people see. I want to do other people see both of us.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Hmm. Okay. Well, without further ado, because I'm gonna take me a nap after this chat.
Just ask somebody. Just ask somebody in the chat when they say something. Just ask them, can they see both?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So where I left off, I was saying that y'all got started with doing security for
Mm-hmm.
Pirates Theater and stuff like this, and doing this experience, because Erica Badu was on the scene. There was a very big culture of music and entertainment and arts. It was a vibe. Um, the portrait scene was live, so
Mm-hmm.
we got Fayu meeting new people, Saida, you had Rage the Poet, Rain Ifa, Satori, Ananda, you had the PS Rebels, a lot of like Black Page, some other poets and different things like that. It was a vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tia and Devin.
Yeah.
So these people are very artistic, but they were activists at the same time through their artistic expression, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So with Saida and her relationship and knowing Mel, knowing you, knowing Yafeyu, she pretty much sparked the concept along with you all collectively for the People's Lunch Counter.
Mm-hmm.
The People's Lunch Counter, it pretty much started in the area where an apartment complex called Spring Creek. Spring Creek in Pleasant Grove.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So in this area in Pleasant Grove, there was a sense of urgency to bring into existence community patrols, because you had the area that was had violence, maybe particularly gun violence, but a
Mm-hmm.
very huge emphasis as well on the violence of drug dealing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The apartment complex Spring Creek at the time, I believe it was Mel who was a resident. One of the members was a resident of the apartments.
Yeah,
But
yeah, Faye was there first.
okay. And by being there all on a regular basis, they would see the need to, do something, because there was a heavy police presence in
Mm-hmm.
the apartment complex. So with the police presence, they looked at it and seen it like as kind of like a form of intimidation. Also looked
Right.
at it as a form of heavy policing, and it's just not something that felt right. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel right being a part of a community where they had to be overseers who don't have the people's interests.
Right.
So what y'all seen, y'all said, hey, why don't we do this? If we put ourselves in place of the police, then we won't need the police. So
Mm-hmm.
Spring Creek started working with the management of the apartments to allow them to do community patrol. When the police saw this, they were pretty upset about it, you know. However, it wasn't as big of a fight because it was something that the apartments wanted and desired. Not only did PLC have an attitude of community control, but it also kind of created a tone of community.
Mm-hmm.
From the growth of the presence in Spring Creek, another apartment complex in the Pleasant Grove area called Timber Creek saw what was happening at Spring Creek. And the property owner at the time called for a meeting with Yafeu and Mel to institute the same type of community patrol presence in the Timber Creek apartment complex. This also meant that with the presence of this, it would have to be more people and things of that nature to be able to meet the demand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So through the People's Lunch Counter, under the leadership of Saeed, one of the things that Yafeu mentioned is that they started to get more involved with understanding how politics in communities work. He mentioned that they had a sit down with Roy Williams. Am I saying his name? The city councilman? Was his?
Yeah. Roy. He was. You know, him and Marvin Crenshaw worked together on a lot of cases. You know, they helped put together the platform for the 14-1, where all districts could be represented in the city council. It was him and Mr. Crenshaw.
Right. And so
Mm-hmm.
Yafeu said that, you know, he sat down with him and Saida. They had a meeting so they can get more familiar of what's required and learn a lot more about the city politics and so forth. And it was a surprise that Roy had this type of ideology, more so that wasn't so much about politics, but about being on a spiritual journey. At the time, his spiritual journey was taking him into the direction of like India and the spiritualism of it. And with the Saida and how she understood things, she was studying people like Dr. Layla Africa, Dr. Sebi, that nature. So what happened, it created an atmosphere of the People's Lunch Counter starting to take on initiatives with not only just community patrol, but now incorporating things that they can do in the community. And that main thing was providing and encouraging healthy eating lifestyles such as vegetarianism. Incorporating that into their ideas and their practices when being amongst the community. In regards to the community patrol, it started to get more and more heavy and more intense, because now you have the neighborhood drug dealers And he did mention one guy in particular who the management of Timber Creek was having a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
However, and he had a cousin too who was even more mental than he was.
Right, yeah.
However, because the people who were doing the community patrols were armed and were very militant and disciplined in their stance, and they were a force who the property management did put in place, they definitely didn't make any trouble. So the presence of the armed patrols really helped to shake things up by getting things in line. Not to say that it eradicated all a drug trade and illegal activities,
right,
but it definitely created a significant change. One of the things that Yafayu mentioned in these communities, there was at least 50%, and we're talking about both complexes. In comparison, they were both pretty much similar. And about 50% were like elderly people. The other 50% would be like people under the age of 40 years old. But a majority of those people were single mothers and kids.
Mm-hmm.
So those people, relationships were forged with naturally because those people wanted to be in a place that felt safe to them. They needed the safety that come with them. Now, at both properties, the DPD, the Dallas Police Department, existed, but it was a whole different type of vibe when you got these community patrols. Hey, Marilyn! When you have these people patrolling, they're not anything like the police department. It's a whole different vibe, right? And there's a sense of friendliness, there's a sense of character, there's a sense of pride there, there's a sense of community there that you just don't get from your everyday police forces, right?
Right.
That bourgeoisie type of approach whenever you see them, or it's a very, it's like I was saying earlier, it's very intimidating. But this was something that was different. Now, it was intimidating to some, like I said, the drug dealers and different things like that. But for the majority of the people, it was something that was very much welcomed, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the drug activity, it did not so much go away, but it did decrease. Like I said again, like say for instance, people coming in to buy drugs and stuff like that, the traffic slowed down. And also the apartments complex, they did have a curfew in place. So what the on patrol did was enforce these curfews that was in existence. So it definitely created an environment that the property management, was happy to have, and the people were happy to have. Now, one of the things that Yafayu mentioned is that there was times that the police department would try to push and gather information about who are these individuals and things like that. Try to get them to release information about them so that they can maybe find like some type of criminal record or just anything. Hey, Sir Hennessy, please share this live for me, please. Sir Hennessy, thank you. Cuzzo. I wonder if that's a cousin of mine. Are we related?
No, that's my cousin.
That's your cousin. Oh.
Yeah.
We might be cousins.
No, yeah, we good. Yeah.
Okay. So, the police department I was mentioning was trying to gather information about these individuals so that they could try to find something on them so that they could, like, try to sabotage the efforts that for them being there. If I can find something, a reason for you not to be carrying any firearms and this and that. But everybody was clean, everybody was legit, and there was nothing that they can do about it. So I take a break right there. Is there anything so far that you want to bring out?
Yeah, you running the timeline pretty good. And between Timber Park and Spring and we called them at that time the red zone and the green zone.
Oh, why did y'all call them that? I didn't see that in the book. Tell me.
It's code language. Oh, that's because one was more or less confrontational than the other. If we on the walkie-talkie, we say green zone is da 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 da, then you know that it's something going on in the green zone, but it might not be that big of a deal. But if somebody say we in the red zone and this is happening, you might want to pick up speed and go deal with the situation.
Yeah, and he does talk about codes in this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that Yafayu bring out as it was emerging into doing the patrols and different things like that, he began to study more writings of people like George Jackson and different things like this. Blood in My Eye. It really shaped some of his ideas and understanding of socialist values and organizing people on the grassroots level. He continues to mention the influence of being a part of Pan-African Connection and what that played in his life and understanding. He also mentioned being around people and mentors, even such as Baba Lawrence, and how those elders, shaped his teachings and insights into the course of him developing into this community organizing place that he was in his life. In organizing the PLC again with the community on patrols, now it moves us into a phase of providing activities and providing meals and different things like that for the people, which Saida played a major role in the coordination of that and encouraging a vegetarian meal options, and how a lot of times they would prepare meals and a place called the Dream Center. So tell me about the Dream Center. What was that located?
Oh, it was inside of the Timber Park in the middle of the apartment complex.
So they had access to this Dream Center, which was like it had a kitchen upstairs. And it
was a nice, it was a pretty nice place. It's your ideal place if you inside of an apartment complex and you want to get the people involved in something and you want to use the space, it was a perfect space for that.
And they had the kitchen. He was saying it's like people like Black Page and her husband, Big Pharaoh, who was a very huge man, kind of looked aggressive, but he was a very gentle giant. How they played a significant role in helping to prepare the vegan meals, and people would come out and they would be like, "What is this?" And they're like, "Is this me? Is this that?" And he was saying that like there were times when most times there wasn't any food ever left over because people really enjoyed it, and so he was able to see the transformation of people being open to vegetarian options. So, is this how you started your journey towards vegetarianism?
Yeah, I felt like, I tell people that story all the time. They always ask, what made you do it? Yeah, did you love the animals or whatever, which I do, but it was. I felt like if we were going to be educated, because People's Lunch kind of was a resource vehicle, that's why it's called that, but it's also an educational vehicle. And, I feel like if we're going to be educating people on their health and educating them on how to live a healthiest life as possible, being that they're in the community they were in with little resources, what I look like trying to educate somebody or be a part of that. And I'm up here, going to McDonald's, getting the chicken sandwiches and the apple pies and eating all kind of other BS. What I look like doing that if I'm going to be a part of this. So I took it upon myself, which we all did. We just probably looked at it different, but that's my mindset. Like what I'm doing, educate people, telling them this and that and that. And I ain't taking no herbs. I'm politically conscious. I understand the significance of African spirituality, revolutionary politics, party line, mass line, Pan-Africanism, all this. But at the same time, I eat bullshit all the time because at that age, your metabolism is high, so you can eat a lot of bullshit and work out and do minimum workouts, and you still be all skin, light and muscular and shit. And so, even though that's the case, I still need to, try to be as complete as a person that I could possibly be. And that's going to the health conscious along with the political. So that was my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And then you enjoyed it so much.
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed the food. You like the food.
No, I didn't enjoy it back then. They didn't have as many all extravagant vegan meat substitutes they got today. They didn't have all back then. Back then they only had a few.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They only had a few veggie burgers back then. Wasn't no variety like it is now. Nah, it was just, everybody was using the same two, or you was making your own from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did kind of. I want to go back a little bit because I did kind of fail to mention some of the shaping into Yafeu's going into community patrols was the visit from Diop Agbala when he came to speak at my art gallery.
Yeah.
He actually stayed at Spring Hollow with Yafeu and Mel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was through the Uhuru movement that he's seen a very big emergence of fighting like police brutality issues and stuff like that. So it was a sense of awareness by seeing, other organizations and different stuff taking on these particular topics.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also an incident that happened one night, which showed him how much power that they had, and I would say ability they had in being able to do community patrols. This particular situation sparked the idea, he said one day they was outside and there was like a van. It was very dark. And it was outside and there was a van. And it was just this random white man sitting in a van. And one of the comrades named Bobby walked up onto the van with his rifle and like, hey, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? And the white man got so shook that he hurried up and bounced out of there and got on up out of there. So it was a time, and and they laughed about it. They laughed about what that looked like, and it was like, oh man, shit. So that's kind of like was a spark to that.
Yeah.
He also mentioned Baba Lawrence's son, Jaleel. And he says that he was very well spoken and influential when it came to street politics. Can you break down to me what street politics mean?
Yeah, it's the lumping world, basically, just the language of the people who not really what society see is legit. You know what I'm saying? You got people who have very few jobs or no jobs in their life. They hustling. You know what I'm saying? Or either that or they just trying to get by. They may have a job, but it's they barely scraping by, as capitalism always has. Majority of the workers, they just scraping by. And so, they may hang out on the block, smoke a little bit, drink a little bit, talk about some ladies, or if they're ladies, talk about the men, you know what I'm saying? They might just be an outright hustler, and he was good at locating, eyeing a situation and knowing what kind of a situation it was, you know what I'm saying? So he was good at articulating to people, the views of what we were doing and translating it to the street language. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just the average language, is not anything fancy. You know what I'm saying? It's coded. It's not anything you're going to see in the Webster's dictionary. You know what I'm saying? It's just the people, something that the common people made up on their own. And he was good at dealing with that environment. But at the same time, he had other knowledge as well.
Okay, I see. So basically, he had a way of, having an approach with the lumping class. And I guess for Yafayu, it was probably more so of an introduction to him and how to, hey, Jude. It was a introduction to him on how to incorporate the politics into it, and which is quite often a challenge for us,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a challenge, of course, that we've overcome.
Yeah, right.
For most people, when they do begin organizing and so forth like that, it is a challenge, and not so much as being like an intellectual and being able to communicate and be amongst the people in a regular way where they can relate to you and different things like that. So what he's saying is that that's the element that Jaleel had brought, organizing aspect that he really took notice of. So with the leadership of Saida and the teachings of her understanding of Dr. Layla Africa's teaching, PLC began to go on a mission of not only community patrols, but now they're doing other programs. They're doing programs, they're doing events, and which led into the Community Unification Day. Can you give us some history on Community Unification Day and some of the things that y'all did?
Yeah, really, Unification Day actually started back in 2003 when me and Yafael was still doing the Freedom Now movement. That really was the very first one, and we did it on November 2nd of 2023 in Oak Cliff on Weekland. down the street from the Woodtown area, at that Wheeling Park. That was the very first CUD. That was the first time we ever used the name ever. Was
Oh,
November 22nd in 2003.
okay.
But this one, but this was something. This is around the time we started making it like a big thing that we wanted to make every time we come out in the unit in the community and unify people. Based, not based on, okay, this side, this apartment complex, or these houses versus these houses, but that we want to bring people together in a common interest that we can do things collectively, minus all the, oh, this my set, this your set, this where we from, this where I'm from, and just basically doing things collectively and allowing people to see for themselves how positive this outcome can be, as opposed to staying in their own little lane. And so back around the time this came about, this is the concept we had then, as opposed to when we very first did it. It was just us coming together, bringing resources to the people. But by this time, that concept in which I just explained is what was at the forefront of Community Unification Day, because we did a lot of stuff with the kids. We had field day with the kids, all this kind of stuff going on. It was a big family thing. It was the adults and the kids out enjoying themselves, along with some of the other things we did in the Dream Center, like political education, things like that.
Now, would you say through the Community Unification Day that a lot of people wanted to, was it a time where people wanted to join and say, hey, I want to become a part? Like, did it increase the numbers?
No. It increased supporters, but it didn't increase like membership. It was the same core people for the longest of time, but it did increase supporters, definitely. And it increased the people that wanted to participate.
So what were some of the qualifications to be a member? Like, if I wanted to join and I wanted to carry a gun, because like with things like that, it's about trust and different things like that. So did y'all have a system of measurement and like who could be a comrade in that sense? How was that laid out? If you can.
Yeah, we did, but it wasn't as sophisticated. So you gotta remember, the People's Lunch Counter really was a program of GMF, but GMF wasn't a name that we used in public at that time. But later on,
name,
what you say?
I'm gonna get to the GMF name later, because from the reading it looked like GMF name came after PLC, or was it just developed fully after PLC?
Yes, it was developed full. That's what I'm saying. It was really as we're studying and stuff and reading George and other people of the more radical pieces and individuals in the movement, we started developing that mindset. And we did develop it at the time PLC was going on. That's why even after GMF was founded, we still use PLC as the head program. But at this time, it wasn't as sophisticated yet. But when you're talking about what you say, those who were trusted with weapons and stuff like that, you still had to have weapons training. We had to have a very good rapport with you, know what you're about, know where you're from, know some of your people. So we had to still know some in-depth information about the individual before we trusted them with arms, and to have certain information of how we were going to move. That part was there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna jump a little bit ahead because we're on the subject. So yeah, he did mention that it was Guerrilla Mainframe, the name. It was already a concept that you and him had, and one day they were traveling in a vehicle, Saida, Mel, I think you and him, and Saida said, we need to go ahead and use Guerrilla Mainframe. We need to, start using that. So
yeah,
that is part of the book. It was on a car ride that the discussion came up, but he did mention something that was already been talked about, but then it was like, okay, now let's go ahead and do it. But
Mm-hmm.
to break that down, he broke down the two words, guerrilla and mainframe, and explaining what those two words mean and why y'all use it. So can you elaborate on those two words in
What
conjunction? And
what he say? I mean, sometimes you have a different, not a different viewpoint about a different way of explaining. How do he see it?
well, so basically what he said, when we talk about guerrilla, we talk about a entity, smaller group
Mm-hmm.
that
Right,
organize against larger systematic groups, and a lot of
right.
times, covert operations,
Mm-hmm.
unknown. A guerrilla. We know a guerrilla that practices and studies strategic and tactical
Yeah,
warfare
that's
to fight a larger entity.
right,
And a guerrilla movement, concept, and ideas, and all of their strategies. The most powerful weapon of the guerrilla is to be unknown,
right.
unseen. So,
Blend. Yeah, yeah.
and that's really important, because it's a lot of organizations that
Damn, I'm getting-
they don't particularly exercise or practice that art of war.
Mhm.
They gotta be seen, they gotta be heard, they gotta be noticed, and yada yada yada. But
Yeah.
you know, a gorilla is way more powerful. You know, uh, you have to develop ways where you don't let your enemy know what you're doing before you do it. Come on now, you.
Mhm.
So when we're community organizing, we're thinking in terms of serving the community. But when we talk about militancy, any militant operation knows the strategies of being in guerrilla mode.
Mhm.
So it's a concept that is very absent from a lot of militant organizations on the ground, because they're actually not really militant organizations, but any true militant organization
Yeah.
would know the art of guerrilla strategies. And then with the mainframe part, he was saying at the time, a lot of organizing during this time, we didn't have the social media. He mentioned
Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
a lot of the organizing efforts that y'all did was like passing out flyers, leaflets, word of mouth type
Mhm.
things like that. But there
Yeah.
was an emergency of the computer
Yeah.
and
Mainframe computers. Yeah.
yeah, there was an awareness of the advancement of technology and so forth.
Mhm.
And the concept of mainframe, that any type of computer system is the operating motherboard, the main
Right.
of it. So it's just using it as an analogy of operation. So everything's gonna come from this mainframe, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of how he explained it. So
Nah, he's
that
played it. He's played it right. I mean, he's played it like he explained it. That's how he was. But also too, I look at Gorilla too is uh is that you actually are not like this, like you're actually not like underground secret like that. It's just you do things from a need to know basis. Like we were talking about earlier with the story with the turtle, is that you blend in amongst the people. To me, I've always seen a gorilla as somebody that can go in any field of interest and be a part. Not saying you're gonna be a part of a boule or a Diddy party or anything like that, but you're gonna be in certain environments. You're gonna be able to blend in, and you're gonna be able to influence people. You know what I'm saying? Without them knowing your main strategy and tactics, right? but they're going to be attracted to something that you do, and you're going to be able to go amongst the people and just be who you are. Like you mentioned, a lot of military groups, a lot of them, the thing is that while a lot of people do like, like look at that as something positive because it looks courageous, you know what I'm saying? It looks like something that reminds them of their concept of the original Black Panther Party for self-defense. But it kind of like they still don't know how to approach it if they see it in person because it looks like something is totally different than what they are, you know. But a guerrilla is able to put on a uniform sometimes and sometimes be able to do the same thing it does amongst the people with a regular t-shirt on from wherever store. You know what I'm saying? So a guerrilla is able to always blend in and maneuver itself, no matter if it has a uniform on or nothing. It's still going to be able to identify with people without people without people knowing what's his main strategy and tactics that he's using.
Right. Right.
So that's how I looked at how we were.
Okay. Oh, speaking of Black Panthers, one of the things that he did mention was one of the efforts of the PLC after bringing Dia Albala to my art gallery. Another move was bringing in Fred Hampton Jr. He got familiar with Fred Hampton Jr. And one of the things that he admired about Fred Hampton Jr. is not only that he carried the weight of his father's legacy, but his way of just being connected to the people and just be willing to talk to the people and be amongst the people, like you were saying, be amongst the people and so forth. But he mentioned that is the thing about Fred Hampton Jr. that he admired and just drew him to him is how his talking to the people, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Yeah. I mean, he's like that too. You know, he always say the streets is our office, the concrete is our desk. That's one thing he always say.
Now, when it comes to the armed struggle and doing the patrols, it wasn't always a pretty scenario. He mentions one incident that happened where two of the comrades had got their weapons seized by the police. Something was going on.
Yeah.
And one of the things he brought out is that the comrades was kind of fearful of Yafeu's reaction to things because at times he could be like a hothead. He was like a hothead. So in this particular instance, I think they was in Spring Hollow, and they had their weapons seized, and he rushed out. He got a call on the walkie-talkie. He got the code. Remember we talking about the code?
Yeah.
Code was, God, what did he say the code was?
Yeah, see, this was in Timber Park, but yeah.
Okay, I get to
so that was the red zone. That was the red zone, yeah.
And he said Mel was Lone Wolf, and his name was Amazu or something like that.
Yeah, Amazu. You know, remember Shakur Zulu sat on the throne of Amazu, and that's where he got there. Yeah. So that was his. Yeah, right.
And
so
he
got
his name from Lone Wolf, and he got his rifle. He put on his baseball cap, and he rushed out. And he said his heart was racing. He didn't know what was going on, and he said he seen somebody running across the street with a shotgun or something like that. But it was a lot of police on the scene and stuff like that. But two people, they were being detained, and the police officer had Yafeu's gun. And he was like, they was like urging him not to like do anything or whatever. But Yafeu like tried to take the gun from the officer, and you know, and so it was very confrontational, and they didn't know how it was going to play out. But luckily, the way he explained it was that it was a victory because everybody was legit once again.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody couldn't be detained, and the people, there was hundreds of people that saw it play out, and this was a victory because it kind of gave a sense of we know what we're doing type, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
However, he said there was a debriefing afterwards, and he was scolded by his actions and, trying to take the rifle from the police officer and so forth. But basically, he was just saying that it was times where, as an organization, people may not have agreed with how he did things all the time or whatever the case may be. So there was sometimes some conflicts with how to maneuver and different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that comes from the status quo. It's two dynamics. One is because they had this authoritative mindset that only we can do the job. We're the police department. And all this. So, and not only that, they feel that other people feel the same way too, which the majority of society does. So when they see other people taking it upon themselves to do something that wasn't authorized by Master Reynolds, then of course it's gonna feel different to them. They like, what in the hell is this? People doing stuff on their own without calling us. You know what I'm saying? So this is in the psychological effects of how they're thinking, and they're not thinking that people are gonna actually take it upon themselves to carry weapons other than to shoot each other for some, like, what up, cuz? What up, blood? If it ain't that, they're not used to people carrying weapons in a lawful situation.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And doing something among themselves that's productive. Nobody's getting hurt. Nobody's fighting. Nobody's shooting each other. People are actually being protected. Because they know only time they really come is when the body's on the ground and time to put it in the body bag. They really don't solve confrontations, really. They've hardly ever done that in the history of police. You know what I'm saying? So when other people are doing it, that's like, okay, wait a minute, you stepping on our toes. And so that time that y'all feel talking about when he tried to take his gun from the police, it really kind of was, make the police look stupid, because what the police would try to do was to see it was a shotgun. The police was trying to see if Yafael's weapon, they was trying to see if it was some shells in the gun. And so the police like, damn, what's going on with this motherfucker? So Yafael like, man, get my damn gun. So he can show him how to, you know what I'm saying, to get the rounds out in the way that they gun. Because, some guns is tailor-made towards you. All weapons are the same, but some weapon, when it's your weapon, that's why in the military, they say, this is your girlfriend. Your girlfriend is yours. You take care of it, you clean it, you do this. So sometimes the weapon may have some tweak in it that only you know about. So that police couldn't do it. So he like, get my shit so I can show you how to see what's in this motherfucker, since you want to see so bad. So that's kind of the attitude that was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so but yeah, basically just to conclude that chapter 6, it just it talked about the 2 apartment complexes, Spring Hollow and Timber Creek, and just the emergence of the things that the PLC did within that those 2 apartment complexes, some of the challenges there. And then to top it off, I'm going to give you the definition that he puts here word for word in Guerrilla. So, with a shared message and a commitment to mass organizing, we aim to create a collective impact and advance the common good. It is important to note that the term guerrilla is often associated with unconventional warfare strategies, typically used by small, mobile groups against larger, established forces. We sought to employ guerrilla-like tactics in organizing and advocating for social change, utilizing agility and adaptability to effectively communicate my message. So that is chapter 6. So then we move into the founding of Guerrilla Mainframe, and he starts the chapter off with, what I was saying about Chairman Fred Hampton, bringing him to Dallas to speak at Pan-African Connection. He mentioned the flow of the Pan-African Connection at the location on Jefferson, and how it was spacious, how we had the upstairs and the different rooms, and the downstairs, and how Bandeli and Equate made it possible for not only a place where he could come to speak, but also help with the financial aspect of getting Fred Hampton Jr. here. And he was very appreciative to that, and what it showed to him was that strong bond of community and working with other organizations and so forth. He said that he found himself drawn to the idea of building a similar movement that Fred Hampton Jr. had. So it's kind of like inspiring him to kind of create something what Fred Hampton Jr. had there. And then he talked about Fred Hampton Jr. Worked with the Rainbow Coalition and how it was the emergence of different groups,
Yeah, right.
He really aimed to unite that diverse group among oppressed people, so they would bring us to like the Brown Berets and, different people like that, entities like that. And working relationships with other oppressed peoples and looking and seeking other people to work and organize with. So that was something that sparked some ideas and how to continue to organize, right?
Right.
He also mentioned that it was at this time that he had the privilege of being a part of the Malcolm X grassroots movement. There was a family that moved here that was a part of that movement. Monifa Bandeli and her husband. They had moved. And then he had started working with them in the Malcolm X Roots movement, which was led by Choke Lumumba. It's so funny, interesting, because this was during the time when I was a Legionnaire for
that's right.
And I was actually doing armed security for Omari Obadeli, and I would travel to Jackson with Osiris, and you remember Chunga? We're doing security for the president of the Republic of America. So that was a very big historical part of my life that a lot of people don't know about. But yeah, I did security for Omari. That was definitely something. And Osiris is the one who taught me how to use my first gun. That's how I got my first gun. So Osiris taught me how to use it. So it seemed like so long ago.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
I can't believe it. I was doing security for Omari. At such a age, I was young. I was a little bitty, skinny toothpick with an afro. Ain't that something? Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I seen you in a uniform and everything, but yeah.
Cause I be forgetting stuff like that sometimes. I done did so many things. I'm like, oh yeah. But
we all was like that. Yeah. Like when you talking about the MSGM, we all joined. The GML. We was in Malcolm X grassroots movement too.
Yeah, it's funny because like it's like that part of my history is been at the forefront of my brain lately because I have been
Mm-hmm.
talking join this last formation that I was a part of. So some of
Mm-hmm.
the things I can make reference to it in relation to it. But there was a
Mm-hmm.
big giant gap where I was like, oh man, I forgot that I ever even did that. But yeah, that was my first gun. Well, not really my first gun because I had a gun when I was like maybe 15 years old, but I didn't know what I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
doing.
Right, yeah, that's how I would right say exactly. Yep, yep, yep.
It was just a toy then. It was like just
Mm-hmm.
anything, like just something to have for fun.
Yeah,
Mm. Um, but yeah, that was my first actually like learning how to handle it properly.
right.
Okay, so he talks about, so having a connection with the Republic of New Africa was basically a learning experience, as well as having a connection with the late Tupac Shakur. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He mentioned Chokwe Lumumba, and he's mentioning him as a former attorney for
Mm-hmm.
Tupac Shakur. I'm sorry. But so this gave him insights on how to organize, and then it gave way into him meeting people like Kamal Franklin. Kamal Franklin was actually fighting against the discriminatory stop and frisk policy. So that was a big part in Guerrilla Mainframe. That learning about the laws and the different things like that, because he's seeing like Kamal fighting against these type of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And challenge in the systematic racism that existed. So this was a spark that was influential in the organizing efforts of Guerrilla Mainframe and discovering some of the things that were important to his cause, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he mentions that he later and we're still speaking of Kamal, but later joined community movement builders, which he's currently a part of now, and starting a Dallas chapter. But when it goes to Guerrilla Mainframe, we're gonna talk about the uniform. So he talks about the uniform. So can you tell me how y'all chose the uniforms and what they look like? Blue shirts and khaki pants. How did y'all develop whose idea was that for the uniform?
I don't even remember that.
What do you remember?
No, I just don't remember that. I remember them being in the car and talking all that, but yeah, I remember we wanted to have something military. See, a lot we were inspired by a lot of the revolutionary international movements, the Pan-African movements, and a lot of them had more the basic camouflage, general camouflage BDUs, and stuff like that. And so that's how we wanted to just look like a, basic international revolutionary movement. We didn't want to look like, and then really we wanted to separate. And it's probably what we said we were back then. I'm remembering, but I'm saying it like it's now. But that's probably what how we was talking about it. But we wanted to separate ourselves from other Panther groups. Not they were good or bad or indifferent. It's just that we didn't want to look like somebody else. We had already done that. We'd already been, what I'm saying? People had already been a part of stuff, where people looking like we in the 60s with the all black and the berets. And not that there was nothing wrong with that, but we wanted to not look so much like that. Even though the basic army, which it was the army fatigues, of course, different divisions of the military had their own fatigues. But the one we took on was the basic army division of the United States military type fatigue, which a lot of the other groups in, some of the international Pan-African movements, revolutionary movements, they wore. And so we just wanted to take on that basic look that had a uniformity to itself, but it was separate from the Black Panther look. So that's how I'm remembering that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And later on, of course, once Rakib came along, he had been in the military. we had adopted other styles of military, more pat digital. When I was traveling with you, I wore the more pat digital a couple of times when we were doing GJU stuff. So, different variations of the uniforms we adopted later, but at the beginning, that's what it was.
Right. So yeah, so he talks about that in the development of Guerrilla Mainframe of the uniform. And after he talks about the uniform, I already kind of touched on it, but that whole situation with the holding of the shotgun from the officer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He went into that, having that experience and so forth. Let me see. But basically, it was like the police officers were becoming more interested in the activities of Guerrilla Mainframe.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the offices of the apartment complexes, trying to get information. And he was also saying that there were times that they would taunt him. Were you aware of that? Like he said, as if to reinforce their intimidation tactics, police officers began driving by and yelling my name. It was a clear attempt to make their presence known and to unnerve us. This coupled with the ongoing challenge of constantly chasing Charles away from the laundromat who was selling drugs. So it was like he was saying that he felt as though the danger was beginning to become overwhelming and increase, and at any moment anything could happen, especially having to deal with the police trying to figure out what's going on or to taunt him or whatever, and then at the same time dealing with the lumping class.
Yeah, yeah, it will.
So what happened from that, he says, amidst all the uncertainty and tension, there were people around me, but my trust limited to one person, male. He, like me, lived in the same complex and faced the same complex issues. Our shared experiences and mutual understanding created a bond of trust and reliance. We relied on each other for support, knowing that we were navigating through a challenging environment where safety and security were not guaranteed. The combination of the police intimidation tactics and the drug dealers, made things very volatile. And I can imagine, doing that, but also living there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Living at the same place, So let's see where else. I'm on page 94. I want to read here on page 94 because this was the part that I didn't get to review, but I want to read. In this environment of heightened pressure and uncertainty, we relied on our bond, trust, and shared experience to navigate through the complexities we face. Together, we remain determined to make a positive impact on our community, striving for a safer and more equitable future. During this period, I found myself deeply immersed in studies of the Cuban Revolution, particularly the ideologies and figures associated with the likes of Che Guevara and Fidel Castro. The desire to travel to Cuba and become a doctor had always captivated my thoughts, but the language barrier presented a significant obstacle. The extensively Spanish-speaking coursework, including medical terminology, posed a challenge that I struggled to overcome. In my studies, I grew to admire Fidel for his support of African people worldwide. His commitment to sending Cuban doctors to various countries in Africa resonated deeply with me. It showcased his dedication to aiding in healthcare to those in need, regardless of their geographic location. This aspect of Castro's leadership further solidified my admiration for him. My fascination with Che Guevara was multifaceted. Beyond his iconic status, I was drawn to his dual role as both a doctor and a revolutionary fighter. It was inspiring to witness his commitment to the cause of justice and his ability to merge his medical knowledge with his revolutionary principles. I delved into his speeches, read about his life, and frequently quoted his words as a source of motivation and inspiration. Given the pressures we face from the Dallas police, I decided to channel my frustration and experiences into action. I made the decision to visit the city hall and speak out against police pressures and brutality. It was my way of venting about the challenges we had encountered through our community patrols, where we had merely trying to ensure the safety and well-being of our neighborhood. Speaking at the city hall was a means of voicing concerns, highlighting the unjust treatment we had experienced, and called for change. So that's what I want to ask you about that. What was that experience like? Because, you know, and the reason I ask, because when you go to these particular places with these white collar entities and so forth, like, for many it can be intimidating. So what is your remembrance of what that felt like, what it looked like, and some of the strategies you used, or some of your most memorable moments, and what was your strategy in going into those places?
Oh, really, man? Really, just to let it be known that we have a community behind us that's going to attack the issues head on, and that people are aware of these things and going to challenge really the status quo and possibly come up with our own solutions. That's really what that is, to let them know. Because, you know, even I'll say now, then you have, you know, like you said, those environments can be kind of intimidating for the common people because they may feel out of place. You know what I'm saying? So they might, you know, a lot of times we don't always come in big number in these situations unless it's some big issue, something that's been made, some, you know, big deal on the news. But other than that, we come like a few people at a time, and, you know, we give our disagreements or whatever we got with the city council, and we let it be known or whatever. But this situation, you know, this time and a few other times we came, you know, in a group, you know, with supporters, comrades, you know what I'm saying? And so we came with that fiery energy from the start, from the door, you know, and so, yeah, you know, he had a couple of us had the bucket military hats, and he actually had shotgun shells, you know, and the security never even said anything about it, but he had a few live shotgun shells you know, on his bucket. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, and we were just firing them up. And so that's always been, you know, that was our thing, is letting people know, like, this is a new day and time. We getting people in these rooms and they're not intimidated by this energy here. We coming, you know, to let you know that we understand these contradictions. We have solutions in mind, and, you know, you need to do your job. Does, you know, that same stuff that we always do, challenging the status quo, but letting them know that the people are aware of these things and that the people pose a challenge to their contradictions. But it was a charged atmosphere, like I say, because we had people actually with us, as opposed to just 3 or 4 of us coming down there like we always do. You know, it's always the people who've been involved in the political process, who know how these things work. But when you bring the people with you, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, he says, while the visual, you know, because he talks about how he would be intentionally dressed this way because it delivered a powerful message.
Yeah.
Here shows that I'm fearless.
Yeah, right.
He says, while the visual representation may have been provocative, it was an expression of my commitment to affect change and dismantle systemic injustices. In taking this bold stance, I sought to create a visual impact that would provoke a response from those in power. By refusing to cower or be silenced, I aimed to demonstrate that I was unafraid and resolute in my pursuit of justice and equality. It was my way of standing up for what I believe in and demanding accountability from those entrusted with protecting and serving the community. Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what else. Oh, and he was saying during at this time, at this time that y'all were going to the city hall and stuff like that, he was continuing going to Pan African Connection, being involved in conversations, and he really came to understand the concepts of Pan Africanism and international solidarity and things like that. And it just really kind of provoked something else in him as well, with his understanding of organizing and understanding historical struggles. So those things kind of gave him that, well, not kind of, but those things that he had learned, historical points and references, it ushered him into being fearless, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to not be afraid to be confrontational.
Right.
He
Yeah.
said, when I approached the podium to deliver my speech at the city hall, my tone was aggressive, reflecting the frustration and urgency I felt regarding the intimidation tactics employed by the Eastern subdivision of the Dallas Police. I made it clear that we were armed and prepared to defend ourselves if we felt threatened. I boldly addressed the city council members, including Dwayne Caraway, expressing my belief that the Dallas Police had exceeded their boundaries. In my speech, I cited a quote from Che Guevara. There are only two ways to leave the battlefield, either victorious or dead.
I bet them niggas was like, what the fuck is he saying? Oh, you can't cuss over here. Hey, I bet they was like, what is this about again? Why did he say this right here today again?
Oh my God.
Man.
I was like, I bet you was like, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I can't remember how the city council looked. I was there, but I don't remember. But I just imagine like they like, okay, sir. Like, oh, this is a battlefield. We didn't know. You know how people in that robotic mindset, you know. I probably just felt like kicking somebody's ass. I don't know. Then back then, I was just as hot headed as him. Shit. But
he said this quote encapsulated the intensity and determination with which we approached our mission. It was a poignant reminder that we were engaged in a struggle for justice and equality, and we were ready to face any challenges that came our way. Towards the end of my speech, former Councilwoman Diane Ragsdale approached me and patted me on the back, signaling for me to remain composed and calm.
Yeah, she sure did.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah.
Her gesture reminded me of the importance of maintaining a measured approach, even in the face of tension and urgency. I heeded her advice and stayed composed. During my speech, I addressed the various issues that had taken place, including the instances of police officers being fired in our efforts to fill the void and take control of our community. It was essential to highlight these issues and emphasize the need for change, not just within the police force, but in the overall structure of power and authority. By delivering a bold and impassioned speech, I sought to spark dialogue and provoke a response from the council members and the community at large. It was a call to action, an invitation for others to join us in reshaping our communities and challenge to existing power dynamics. In response to the community's concern and the perceived lack of awareness about their activities, a meeting was arranged involving Kathy, who is the owner of the Timber Creek.
Timber Park.
Yeah, and Dwayne Caraway and Jane Easterling, and the individuals involved in the patrol. The meeting was to introduce the patrol group and provide more information about our activities. However, Chief Jane Easterling and the Dallas police were being dishonest during the meeting, as they claimed to be unaware of the patrols and their armed nature. I believe this to be false, considering that the patrols have been active since 2007. This lack of acknowledgement from the individuals in the meeting was frustrating and disappointing for me. To refocus our efforts on benefiting on the community, Bobby came across a middle school in Pleasant Grove called Lane Middle School that required additional safety measures. The school lacked speed bumps and signs to remind drivers to slow down near the school, despite having existing school lights. Concerns about the safety of the children, we took the initiative to become cross guards at the school. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I didn't do that with them, but yeah, I do remember that.
To address the issue effectively, I decided to contact the city and report the lack of safety measures near the elementary school. The response from the parents was overwhelmingly positive, as they were grateful that someone took the initiative to address the problem. Prior to our intervention, there had been near collisions, and we were determined to prevent any harm to the children. With our dedicated efforts, the Cross Guard program was implemented 3 days a week. After a news story highlighted our efforts, there was noticeable change. Speed bumps were installed. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And additional signs placed at the school. You know, the Black Panthers had did that with the stop signs.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you know, the thing about that is that, you know, certain things like that, you don't have to like twist the people on that they need to be revolutionaries, right?
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah.
It's just like basic necessities that the people, you know what I'm saying? It's
right,
like,
right.
Read 1,000 books about revolutionary warfare or this or that.
Right.
It's just based off of our needs and our rights as human beings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
People, not only do they appreciate those efforts made by organizations, but when they see those kinds of things, you just don't have to twist their arm. They want to be a part of it, you know. They want to see it change, right? Oh, let's say we about Chris Keith. Okay. Oh, Chris. So the response from the parents was overwhelmingly positive, as they were grateful that someone took the initiative to address the problem. Prior to our intervention, there had been near collisions, and we were determined to prevent any harm to the children. With our dedicated efforts, the Cross Guard program was implemented 3 times a week, and you know, we got the speed bumps. I read that part. This outcome was seen as a significant victory for the community, as it showed that collective action could make a positive impact. In Pleasant Grove, we were presented with unique opportunities to collaborate with other communities and engage in community patrols. However, these efforts put us in competition with the Dallas police. During this time, an individual named Chris Keith joined our cause. I had known Chris since 2006 when we first met, while I was attempting to raise funds for programs for the People's Lunch Counter. He generously donated, and we had a brief conversation while he stopped at a red light in South Dallas. Chris possessed a remarkable skill set in working with youth and had established an organization called Young Blacks with Ambition. Additionally, he collaborated with the University of Texas at Richardson and served as a community organizer. Chris's involvement brought about exciting changes for Saeed Amel and me. We were all thrilled to secure employment and commence working alongside Chris. Our initial plan was to utilize the Dream Center, where we had previously conducted community programs, as a central base for our collaborations with the university. Consequently, all the other organizations hired by the school relocated to join us at the Dream Center. Chris assumed the responsibility of training us in the university's approach to community organizing, which primarily involved conducting surveys to gather perspectives on the quality of life in Southern Dallas. This methodology aimed to engage individuals and encourage them to share their thoughts, concerns, ideas regarding their community. By collecting this valuable information, we could develop a comprehensive understanding of the community needs and aspirations. Do you remember doing the surveys?
Yeah, I come out there. I did that one time. I was trying to do it just for for a little kick, but one time I was supposed to go again and I didn't. Something came up and I didn't go. But that's when Reverend Wright was involved in that and those. We did it with him as well, which he gonna mention there too. But I
Okay.
didn't do it like them. Nah, they were doing it. They were doing it. They was able to do it every time because it was a paid opportunity.
So basically, he goes on to say how working with Chris and and with the university, it it developed a bridge between academia and the neighborhoods. Let's see what else he says. During this period, when the recession of 2008 had hit, people were eager to be involved in the survey process as participants would receive $10. The economic downturn had created financial hardships for many, and the opportunity to earn some money while contributing to the community was warmly welcomed. Despite the surveys being lengthy and time consuming, individuals willingly completed them, knowing they would receive compensation upon completion. I found this form out of organizing particularly effective because it allowed us to engage in meaningful conversation with participants. Chairman, where did you go? Chairman, where did you go? Come back, come back, come back, wherever you are. Are you there, Chairman? I'm waiting for you, Chairman. Okay, you guys. So I did lose the chairman, but basically, there's 2 pages left of chapter 7. Uh, there is a book that is mentioned here. It's called the Accommodation by Jim Schultz. It's so funny because I was just recently recommended to read this by a friend. It's so funny. So it's just a reminder that I actually need to go and visit that. But I want to discuss that the next time we come back. And then he also mentions someone that I haven't seen in a long, long time, Cooper Caraway, which is an activist here in Dallas, Texas. Haven't seen Cooper in forever. So shout out to Cooper Caraway. Interested to know what he's doing. So I want to pick back up on next Tuesday, the last 2 pages of chapter 7, and we will go into chapter 8, which is Armed Self-Defense, a brief Dallas history. You're going to go there. And let me see here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chairman? Can you hear me?
Hold on. Why is it on my headphone?
What you say?
Hold on. Are we still on my Bluetooth? That's weird.
Oh, what had happened to your phone?
It overheated.
Ooh. So I the last 2 pages I was telling the audience that it's funny because he mentions Jim Schultz book, The Accommodation.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy because I swear to you, I was just recommended to read this 2 weeks ago. And how important it is to our history here in Dallas as Black people.
Yeah.
And so I want to save that last page because there's 2 pages. So I want to, when we come back, I want us to talk briefly about the accommodation. And then he mentions Cooper Caraway. Remember Cooper?
Yeah, Cooper is a big he's one of the top labor leaders in the northern region in South Dakota. He's like the head labor leader there.
I was like, oh, Cooper. I haven't seen Cooper in forever.
Yeah, he's the top man. He's the guy up in Dakota, in the Dakotas.
Wow, man. Caraway. I seen that name. I was like, oh, man, I forgot about Cooper.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he basically just talked about meeting Cooper. He didn't really talk too much about meeting him, but just showed how his organizing the workers and, you know, moving into that. But so the last 2 pages before you had left, it was just about the accommodation and him mentioning Cooper, and that was the end of that chapter. So we'll pick back up and mention a little bit about the accommodation because I do want to throw that out there again, and then we'll go into page 103, which is on self-defense and a brief Dallas history. And then with that, There's a section that has pictures in it. You can share the pictures of Guerrilla Mainframe. And then it goes into page 123, which is the founding of DCOC and Office of the Police Monitor. So that would be, so we'll go from page 99 to 142. So that's gonna give us 40 pages. So study. So what is the DCOC Dallas? What was that? I remember DCOC Wachanga. Dallas Community.
Yeah, Dallas Organizer for Change.
Yeah, I remember DCOC. I was a part of DCOC. Oh, co-op.
Yeah, well.
Co-op.
Co-op, yeah. Yeah.
I remember co-op. Oh my God, it was a big part of my history. I probably still got files on my computer from co-op.
Oh yeah, because I know for long as I did, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. God, I feel old.
No, I know. When you think about all this stuff, like you gotta remember like it's in the 60s or something.
Hey, how does he remember all of that stuff?
Yeah, that's why some of this shit, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember. In some ways, his memory, that's why it's good for different people to write that's been a part of something, like, like how the Panthers got 20,000 books on them, and, other Old Republic, New Africa, different groups. Because sometimes somebody's gonna put something in there that's more detailed than the other person would have. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the early day stuff, shit, I forgot. I didn't forget, but I forgot, like, who was there, and then, oh, yeah, he was there because he did this and that. And so, yeah, it's good, But he have a lot of memory of little stuff, and some stuff I think I got a better memory of, but some stuff he definitely got a better memory than me. He remembers stuff in, like, real detail, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah.
Remember when we first started co-op, though, I was a part of that, but it's like, to think of it, it just totally, it's like, it totally leaves my brain. Like, I forgot that it even existed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How you forget about co-op? How you forget about co-op? Co-op.
I forget, because at this time I was in the art gallery, and
yeah, you still had your art gallery, did you?
Yeah, and I was doing, because I ended up doing co-op because I was doing a lot of work with Cedric Eggendelli.
Yeah.
How because he was
in Uhuru at the time, yeah.
How I got in. I was a secretary for Uhuru, so me and him started the chapter.
Yeah.
Me and him started the chapter. So that's how we then moved into co-op after that. But see, I couldn't get jiggy with Uhuru because of Molly Yeshatelli.
Yeah.
Molly he was not a good person. He was had the practice of trying to make Pan-Africanist organizations such as the All African People Revolutionary Party and organizations like that seem illegitimate, or so many contradictions, so that he could make his efforts with APSP more valid. He utilized tactics. So it was at that moment, because I was serving as a secretary for Impedon, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Salute.
Yeah, he kind of made. Oh, Sherrod over here. What's going on, Chairman? Sherrod was good, brother.
Chairman Zulu.
Yeah, Jordan.
So yeah, so we're just wrapping up. Please like the live video. Please like it. So Chairman, so yeah, that's what we're gonna cover. But yeah, so that really takes me back in time and what I was doing back then. But man, it just feels like, oh man. And that's the thing about organizing, because you go through these
Mm,
different phases of growth and
yeah.
development, working
Mm-hmm.
with other
Yeah.
people and different things like that. It was kind of a bittersweet. Well, it was really hard for me because, for me, you know, I was a very young woman. Now around this time, I was like in my early 30s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 'Cause we was like 20 something, yeah, like that. Yeah.
But because I had always had the history of just Pan Africanism, but Pan
Mm-hmm.
Africanism is the solution, to everything, right? And so understanding the concept that I understood, and then I started to look at, like, okay, we got political prisoners, and the understanding prisoners of war, and international
Mm-hmm.
laws, and understanding so many different things, labor issues, and then meeting different people who may be involved in electoral processes and this and that. And okay,
Mm-hmm.
with everything, you can see yourself making a contribution to it, right? And see yourself
Right.
working and different things like that. And so I was always meeting new people, new circumstances, situations. And what was that place Chunga was at in South Dallas? The SD, what was it? South Dallas, what was it? SD.
I don't
That,
know. Was he at the ICDC building?
ICDC.
Yeah, yeah. You know that Diane fact. Yeah, that's Diane got about it that place. Yeah. Uh-huh.
ICDC. So we were doing
Yeah.
stuff
Uh-huh.
in ICDC. It was just a lot going on, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had our hands in everything. And that's what you're supposed to do. Too many times people today, they want to make it all about their organization and all they do all about really they damn image. But what I appreciate about us, that's why with people I give criticism. I tell people all the time, you can't tell me a damn thing about unity because I'd have been a part of so many organizations that wasn't my organization that I
Right.
founded. You know what I'm saying? Because I always felt like true unity, that's what it is. If you only gonna be in your organization and your organization is this and that and the third, which we know your damn one organization ain't gonna get us the keys to the freedom. We already know this. Uh, if you proclaim this and you proclaim you about unity and that, why we don't see you did it with the organization? And that's how I always looked at it. So I was always proud to be a part of as many efforts as possible. You know what I'm saying? So I liked it. It wasn't just about, GLF or PLC or whatever I was involved in. It was about everything I was involved in because you have to be a part of every part of this struggle to get the masses and get everybody on board so that you could get the maximum impact of what you're doing. Your organization ain't gonna be the damn savior. You know what I'm saying? The hero mentality, that hero complex. For some years I've been against that kind of philosophy because it hasn't worked.
Right. Yeah, I learned at a very early age from Ben Daly, the power of solidarity, because I remember
Right.
when we were a teenager, and me and him, we would go to the churches, and he would go to, the Christian churches and stuff like that. And we
Yeah.
were, more, even though we was like cultural, we had a militancy to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Pan-Africanism, because we was
Right.
Pan-Africanism is the only way, right? So it had embodied a type of militancy, right? And the way that we
Right.
did things and understood things. But we had to be able to communicate effectively with people who may not understand that. So going into the churches was always a challenge. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Through Bendeli's leadership, I see how easily he flowed in communication and aligning his analysis up to be able to deliver a message precisely and effectively by showing solidarity in a way. It was very artistic in the way that
Mm-hmm.
he did it. And so
Yeah.
he taught me that ability to be able to, like how we was talking about the street politics. You got to be able to go and do the street politics. You got to be able to go into the church. You got to be able to go to the city
Mm-hmm.
meetings. You got to be able
Right.
to go
Uh-huh.
to Congress. You got to be able to go amongst the prisoners. You got to be able to go amongst the elite. And, you got to be able to, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
they do, I do appreciate what I value the most is working in solidarity with other organizations in the
Yep.
past and seeing how they do things too,
Yeah, right, exactly.
Some of their
Mm-hmm.
approaches, some of their tactics was all, and that's one of the learning things that I have learned so much from reading We Are About Lagoon and Yafeu in his development, especially in those chapters we just read. But
Oh,
even
yeah, that was good.
growing up, he keeps reiterating how people had influences over him. But as you can
Mm-hmm.
see, earlier on, it was like individuals. But then as he got older and started organizing, then it became groups and different
Mm-hmm.
people that he's seen, and how they influence him, like Fred Hampton Jr., even though he's an
Mm-hmm.
individual, but it was his work within his organization and some
Mm-hmm.
of the things, or the Malcolm X movement with Kamal Franklin and all of those things. So um I say all of that to say in conclusion, having the ability to work in solidarity with others, and that's extremely important because there is again, like how I mentioned that whole thing with APSP and how I seen the strategy that Amalia Satella was using to try to discredit other organizations. You don't have to do that.
Mm-mm. You don't.
Legitimize what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gotta be, oh, we're better than this, or try to pull out negatives about other groups and this and that just to maximize your credibility. You know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
I don't think that is a tactic that we need to use. Of course, it is a tactic we can use, but I think it shows a lack of integrity to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just something about it that don't feel right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, one, it don't feel right, but scientifically it don't feel right because it's a perception based. It ain't reality. A person saying that we have all the answers and what we do is better than everybody else. If that was the damn case, we wouldn't have no choice but to be with you because what you said would be universally correct. But it's not. You're on the same page as all the rest of us. We try to figure out how to have a push a vehicle that the masses latch onto in a conscious way with principled unity and to get ourselves free. And since your organization haven't got us free, what you're saying is actually incorrect. And so that's how, that's how I understand things is that first of all, it's incorrect. So that it did, like you say, it's not integral. You know what I'm saying? And why would you, even, point out what somebody else doing is something there's lack thereof, and, just to boost what you got going. You know what I'm saying? So what does that mean? If we did get free, what would you be? And you was in a powerful position. Well, how the hell would you be in that position if you like that right now?
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of code of personality build. But he
Oh, that's what it is.
he
The current personality. Yeah.
yeah. My philosophy, my this, my vehicle, my gun, my hat, my boots, man, whatever. That shit ain't proven nowhere. So we might as well stop this. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who it is. We point them all out. You got to have principle, unity, and collectivism. That's the only time African people was successful when we had collectivism. You see what I'm saying? We could point out all the individuals. They did great shit, but you ain't gonna stop the onslaught of imperialism unless you got a collective base going in. And you, so we need to just stop this madness. But I want to say with him, I'm trying. Well, how can I say it? I ain't saying he didn't renege, but he kind of like he downplayed the way he viewed Pan Africanism. No, he came to PAC one time. I don't think you were there. And Bandela was still alive too. He came up there and was like a keynote speaker and shit. And he kind of he made mention of his lack thereof unifying with the Pan-Africanist forces, which he attempts to do. He did. He said this out his own mouth. Yeah.
But see, that's the whole thing. You said Bandela was there, so I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He had a conversation with Bandela.
Oh, yeah. So, but it might have been after that, though. I don't know if they had time to do it at first, but they did after that, definitely. I remember they did. But, yeah, I remember he came up there because that was one of my things. Was like, okay, how is he going? He coming up here, and how we going to get the, what we going to do with this situation with that philosophy type thing. And, yeah, he mentioned that when he first started talking.
Yeah, it became a big thing with him. But Robert, yeah, it became a big thing with him. But Robert included chapter 6 and 7 of We Are Balagoon. We talked about the seeds of self-defense and how they started doing community patrols in Pleasant Groves. And we talked about how Guerrilla Mainframe came into existence and how Guerrilla Mainframe got his name. We talked about that. We talked about the uniforms. We talked about people's lunch counter. So next week, we're going to cover pages 99 through pages 142, which will be more of, we're going to get to your time, Robert. We're coming to you.
Yeah, you're a rookie. You're a youngster. Look at he said it's before his time. You a youngster. That's why.
Robert was still in Memphis, right? He was
yeah. He was, yeah.
Come to Texas. What year did Robert come to Texas?
I don't know. He had to tell you, but I first met him maybe like 2014 or something like that when he started coming around us. But he was here. If he probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was here probably at least a year or so before we even met him. Maybe 2 years, but I know at least a year before we even met him.
He came in 2014. He came. You had it right.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't got to this time yet, but we're getting there. We're
Kila, we need to get you we need to get you to the Charles Beasley Center, Kila, so we can do this stuff in person and talk about some of this stuff.
So this is what I'm thinking.
And I want to do it this month too, where it's coming August.
I'm thinking since Balagoon Day is on the 22nd, that's my birthday weekend. It will be somewhere around that time, so maybe I could come. We can do something like during that week. During that week, because it's Black August. But by that time we'll be close to the end of the book, and that way, if we do it, hopefully we'll be on the chapter that I wrote. Because if we'll get on the chapter that I wrote, I could be able to break that mug down. Like I be up in breaking that mug down, boy. You know what I'm saying?
The ABCs are being colored.
What? No. No,
but that's a good time because I'm organized with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and they we gonna do a book signing on the 21st from 6:30 to 8:30. The time ain't been solidified yet, but I talked to Tyree yesterday, and that's the time we looking at.
Okay, is they gonna be here, or are you still looking for a location?
No, they got a headquarters. That's why I wanted them to I wanted it to be at their spot.
Okay.
I believe their spot is at Oak Cliff. Yeah, so yeah. But that's on the 21st though. But yeah, that's the day. The 22nd is the day after. Yeah.
Okay, well, I have to put it on my calendar because if it's a book signing, I definitely want to be at the book signing and show
We
my
might, I
support.
might need you to do a rap or a poem there.
I can
But
do,
but
I can do
I'll play a guitar.
because I ain't gonna be able to
Yeah.
rap unless I got a beat now.
Did you have an album one time? The Soul Sister Kila's album? But nah, but I would see how we could get some people to do something like that there. But yeah.
Oh, that was Sister Crystal Muhammad. She was a rapper.
Oh shit! So Sister Chris was rapping on Rap a Lot Records.
Yeah, she was a cold blooded back in Houston.
No, okay.
Her,
Yeah, okay. She was with Jay Prince now. Okay. Well, yeah, we might do that. But yeah, I had to tell you about that because it's gonna be a discussion base. You know what I'm saying? So it might be like some of the Palestinian youth movement people there too. So I know it'll be definitely good for us to be there. We co-authors and be part of that discussion too. You know what I'm saying? That's surrounded where we are today. So that's why I set it up with them like that. But
yeah,
yeah.
good. That sounds good. But
Hmm.
hopefully, I know the 21st is a Friday. I will start my new job on this day, so
Oh
hopefully
yeah, that's true. Yeah, around that time. Yeah.
it's in the evening where it's like after work type thing. Cause I
Yeah,
know,
it's 6:30
yeah.
to 8:30. That's the time we're looking at.
Okay. That should be feasible. All right, so we'll meet again next Tuesday is the goal. Don't forget, study. Because we go dig into COAP, DCOC, Dallas Communities Organizing for Change. That was Dan Sullivan too, right?
Yeah, he was kind of in solidarity with it. Yeah. But that name I came up with that name. But yeah,
Yeah.
he was a part. Yeah, he was in solidarity until he got on some people nerve. They was like, man, this guy here. But yeah, Dan was around that time.
Steve Benavides.
Yeah, Benavides was Benavides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're gonna go into. So we got a lot to cover, but we did good today. We covered 6 and 7. It does pay to
Mm-hmm.
so because I looked at it, I was like, these chapters is pretty thick. I know I'm gonna have to
Oh, they were. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you did it that way. Uh-huh.
I'm definitely gonna have to read these in advance to get to the meat and potatoes because
Mm-hmm.
this is a lot. So yeah, but thanks, Comrade Robert Taylor. Peace and power to you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thanks for sharing. And we'll see you all next time with We Are by Lagoon, same time. And I'm gonna try to send a reminder for everyone to join us next time. So see you later. Thank you, Chairman.
All right, peace and power.
Peace.
Salute.